Hello, my name is Christian, and for tonight we will be talking about the color psychology in spaces. But to start with this project, I would like to first introduce to you the definition or the concept of a color. In physics, color is associated with specifically with electromagnetic radiation of a certain range of wavelengths visible to the human eye. This means that colors are usually, well, I'm going to explain this in an easier way. Color is like a sun ray that they will hit an object in order to reflect a color. For example, you can see this pollution, right? Okay, sorry for the thought. You could see this pollution, right? This pollution is yellow. Well, almost is for her yellow. But the thing is that all the lightning will hit the pollution, making it yellow. But how? All the colors will hit the pollution, but yellow. This means that they will reflect yellow, making it color yellow. Lol. But yeah, now I would like to try to explain what is the color psychology. This is a science that tries to study the relation between the human mind and behavior with the color, like in general, if in objects, environment, things, like everything that is around us. Okay. Having that concept, I think it's important to talk about how color works. So I would like to show you this color wheel in order to explain how colors work in our eyes. I made this color wheel in order to make it easier to understand, since I'm trying to explain this topic to people who is not aware about this. Okay, so I will try to explain this quickly. To try to understand this wheel color, I will divide it in 4 sections. Two of those 4 sections will represent the tone, while the other ones will try to represent the brightness. We have on the right side the warm colors, and on the left side the cool colors. Each tone represents an emotion that a human can perceive, such as relaxing for the cool ones and energy for the warm ones. This effect will also depend on how bright and dark is this. For warm colors, the more brighter it is, the more energetic you will feel, maybe leading you to a feeling of exhaust. While the darker is the warm color, is the quieter is the emotion. Maybe a dark red will make you feel concentrated. For the cool ones, it's almost the same, but in the opposite way. What does this mean? It means that the brighter is the cool color, the less relaxed you will feel, while the more darker it is, the most relaxed you will feel. But this makes you lead to a feeling of tiredness or being sleepy or drowsy. Well, with that clarified, I think it's important to make an introduction about this topic. So I would like to quote something that a really important psychologist said, this Viteri DK, in 2017. The physical environment in which human beings develop influences their behavior. A certain design can favor or facilitate a particular behavior depending on how it is perceived by the individuals who frequent it. This means that it's our statement about the colors that affect the environment, it's true. So I would like to think about a question mark in my head that have been going around my mind since I'm a child. This would be: how can you use color in spaces in order to modify people's behavior? How I thought about this. This is an story time. Well, when I was a child, I used to live in a house that was almost, no, exactly the same as my grandmother's house. So what I did is try to analyze my bedroom with the other bedroom that was in my grandmother's house, that was basically the same. And I thought about it without the furniture, just the color. And I thought that it would be the same, but in the result it wasn't. Why? Because in my bedroom I would actually feel more uncomfortable than in my grandmother's bedroom. So this was something that was going around my mind since a long time ago. So I wanted to talk about it more in a deeper way. So yeah, there are different things that talk about the color psychology, but there are some things or problems that have been present in our society. Although there are studies that highlight multiple effects of color on behavior, there is still a lack of in a depth, systematic approach that explains how different color ranges can elicit specific responses from the people who inhabit space and what perceptual mechanisms are at play. Consequently, space design professionals, architects, and environmental psychologists do not always fully take into account how colorimetry plays an important role in human behavior. What does this mean? This means that in our society, the color in our spaces are not usually the first thing that an architect or interior designer would think at all. I mean, it's their job to think about it, but they wouldn't think about the benefits of choosing a right color in order to make comfortable your client, because spaces are basically designed for us. If you really think about it, these things such as my bedroom, or maybe the classroom that I'm with right now, or maybe the city in general, have different colors, but just for aesthetical function, but not in a real functional way, in order to control our mental health and behavior on spaces. So you will think why this work will actually work. Well, I think a good justification of this project would be that this project is intended to understand how the use of a special variable such as color can affect in a certain way the behavior of the people who are in the environment, in order to expand this knowledge and standardize the use of color psychology as a crucial element when designing space optimized for its user, as suggested by Victor Moreno. Quote, "The colors in the interior should be specifically psychological, restful or stimulating, because color influences the spirit and the body, the character and the mood, and even the acts of our life. The change of a color scheme simultaneously affects our temperament and consequently our behavior." All of this means that it is actually true that the color that is around us, it affects our mental health or behavior, as I said before with the color wheel. This means that different palette colors could be giving different results, like warm colors and them being bright could make you feel alert, more energetic, while cool undertone colors that are not bright they usually make you feel more like comfortable, sleepy, relaxed, and other different adjectives that can describe a quiet person, to be honest. And this is an important statement to keep and to think about it. So yeah, all these things will connect with the knowledge that we had before, the researches that I did. I would like you to give you an example of a hospital that actually a teacher who teaches graphic design, he's a graphic designer, told me about it. This was a hospital that used blue in most of the walls. I would say the blue. And you will think about the wheel color that I showed you before, and you will say something like, "Oh, this means that the hospital was trying to relax people." And you're right. Actually, the blue in that space was a variable that tried to affect people's mind, but in a good way, in an efficient way actually. Because when you're in a hospital and everyone is like going crazy because emergencies, they're worried about their partners, their family members, friends, or I don't know, different people in general, it's important to think about their mental health and keep them calm. So I mean, this is not like the best way to keep them calm, but it helps a lot to relax people in general, as color blue is globally known as the most relaxing color around us, right? So such my sweater or my wall behind me. So it's something that I have thought before, yeah. So well, I think it's important to think about the perception of the people and the colors. What I'm trying to explain is that some people might perceive colors in a different way. For example, I don't know, in my case, if I see the color blue, maybe I will feel relaxed. But for example, if one of our classmates don't feel in the same way, it's okay. The human mind is something that it's impossible to explain just in a short video or in a presentation, because it's probably as big or maybe bigger than the universe. So in order to understand this, it's important that everyone can have different perspectives or opinions in different colors. So what did I do to trying to solve the question that I said before? Well, I did a survey actually, and trying to send that survey to different people. I presented it to my friends, my family, such as my father, my mother, my cousin, a couple of friends too, some teachers actually from my school. Thank you so much to them for helping me with this. Research is something important to me. But now, considering the results of the survey, multiple factors can be noted that revolve around the experience of people in their usual environment. And the most common is that 80% of respondents perceive colors as an element that can affect their day-to-day life through human behavior. This question is actually important. Well, it was more than question, it's more now an statement, since an 80% of the people that I have asked about if they think that color is such an important thing in their lives, I would say that all the colors around our environment are not noticed by even the people that inhabit them, the environment, and it's something important to think, but at least 80% do. I did the survey to at least like between 12 and 15 people. I would say 15 people, yeah, 15 people. So I have gotten different results, so I will read them to you in order to understand what happened. From this information, responses begin to vary during the survey. To begin with, a 61.5% of the people that I have asked say that the cool tones of the colors convey a sense of calm and conformity, and that, despite being used in excess, this range does not generate a feeling of fatigue given by the exaggeration of conformity. This means that people, I want to say almost 62% of people that have asked, they thought that the color blue or purple or cool tones are relaxing, yeah, but not all of them. That I was trying to explain that with the thing with the perception of the human mind and the colors, since we have different eyes and thoughts. But about the warm tones, something different happens with this range. Since 75% of the people recognize them as color palettes that provide energy to their activities. However, the excessive use implies a feeling of non-conformity and mental pressure due to the excess of energy that these colors provide. This means that warm colors, or maybe the brightest ones, usually keep our minds active, as I said before. But when you use them in a really excessive way, they could make you feel like tired or maybe overstimulated. This is basically overstimulation if you think about it, because you are being exposed to a color that it's not supposed to be seen all the time, since it's really stimulating to our nerves and emotions. It is worth mentioning that the use of neutral and varied colors during the survey, since 70% of the people prefer neutral color palette during the lifestyle, since these colors provide a sense of harmony in space, making them preferred palette from human perception. This means that when do you think about a room or environment that you would be spending time, they prefer a neutral color scheme. This means colors that are usually followed by the color wheel, or colors that are not usually too dark or too bright. I would say colors such as gray, beige, maybe a light brown, like sand, or other colors that are in a grayscale. This means such as blue, red, green, pink, purple, and all of them, but in a grayscale. This means that they are not so bright, but at the same time they are not so dark. Okay? So, thinking about all the information that we have gotten in this video and also the research that I did, I think we could go to a conclusion, and is that thanks to the studies given, it is understood how colors affect our environment and how a characteristic that people possess, such as perception, means or usually lens to get a different information exchange between the brain and the environment in which it is located, as explained by the neuroarchitecture and environment psychology. When we talk about the neuroarchitecture, it's something that is usually architecture and interior designers think. This means that the space that you are living now or you are inhabiting is created in order to make you feel better in your mental health, okay? This perception plays with the information provided by the color of the environment in order to send signals of the brain to the brain and give answers by the organism. Giving psychological reactions such as the change of the heart rate making emotions come into play to determine a behavior during the development of the activities of the human being. So our statement is true that colors can be used in order to make people feel in a different way when they are doing their daily basis activities in a room, such as study, maybe playing video games, doing their hobbies, playing music, doing, I don't know, drawings, cooking, all these things. This means that in a bedroom or a room in general, an environment that you are going to be, it's important to think about the colors, and you can use them in order to control the emotions that maybe you have, since the perception is a thing that plays such as important variable in order to understand what do you want in your room or in your space. But different people might perceive this maybe color scheme or palette in a different way. So it's important to people who actually design think about the necessities or the perception of the people who are designing for. For this reason, colors play an important role during the design of a space, making it essential to choose a color palette appropriated to the reaction you want to provoke in the user, such as the use of neutral colors or varied colors. There are also the cold ones to promote calm and concentration, or the use of warm tones to stimulate stronger emotion and give energy to the organism, depending on the attitude that was acquired by the perception of who inhabits the space clearly. In general terms, it's correct to say that color affects the behavior of human beings, and that most of them can perceive them in a similar way. However, not all of them do. So this is why nowadays, or currently, it's not common to find information about the color psychology, because it's not the same for everyone. I mean, we could get an average, thinking about the responses such as the survey that I did, or maybe that information that we have gotten from the scientists that I have mentioned before, but it's not the same for everyone. So, since the human mind is so big, there's always the possibility that there is a different response to the stimulation provided by the colors of the spaces. So now, with this information, I think it's important to spread awareness about the mental health and the importance of color in our space in general, because we live in spaces, we do our activities in spaces, so maybe it's a thing that you haven't thought before, but now I think it's an important tool that you can use in order to enhance your mental health. Maybe this will may make you work in a better way, making feel you more concentrated, or maybe with more energy, or maybe in another way, maybe you want your bedroom just to sleep or rest. So now with this information, I think we can conclude that color is such an interesting variable in our lives. Now, what do you think about this? What do you want to do now, knowing this information? Maybe you would like to change the color of your bedroom, or maybe someone else's bedroom, or I don't know, maybe something that you could use in order to help our society, or maybe the people that you love, in order to make them feel better. So this was Christian, and this was my final project for my English course. Thank you so much.